AI Director, this player has taken 0 health damage and the mission is almost over. Send in the 0 frame Ravener grab from flawless run to 1 HP. Yes, we are talking about grabs today. I really hope the devs did not forget that they mentioned adjusting grabs, I think a couple patches ago. But around the same time they were talking about, reworking contested health regeneration. So I am definitely really curious on how the devs are going to fix grabs as well, because yeah, I think players are starting to get sick of grabs. I've seen a fair amount of posts and comments talking about it recently, and to me personally, I was seriously just sitting down, just minding my business, going throughout my day, and then the thought popped in my head, wow, that 0 frame Ravener grab when I was walking up the stairs in Inferno that happened like a week ago, that was infuriating. Whenever there's a mechanic from a video game that catches me in my, whenever I'm just relaxing and for whatever reason I just get randomly tilted at the memory of this grab specifically, that's when I knew. I was like, man, the devs really need to do something about these grabs, man. I literally am scarred from the fact that if you're walking upstairs and there's an extremist spawn, you gotta get off those stairs because, yeah, you will get a 0 frame Ravener grab. And what that means is the grab happens practically instantly. I think what happens on stairs specifically for grabs, it's like you get the orange Q while you're getting grabbed. I don't understand how it happens in, from top to bottom. No idea why 0 frame grabs exist. But yeah, for whatever reason, you can get insta-grabbed when you are walking up an incline, like stairs. So be careful of that. Be careful of that. I really hope the devs patch grabs because, yeah, seeing grab posts, it can be a little bit heartbreaking, I think. What's the point? Ravener grab contested health. By the time you successfully defended yourself, your contested health is already down to being 1 shot. You gain nothing. They need to fix it where the contested health stays longer, giving you the time to get it all, or half back, depending on the perks. I think it needs to, yeah, I definitely think they should have the contested health. It should settle for a bit. When you're grabbed, it shouldn't just immediately start to deplete. You should definitely be able to break out of a grab to get some contested health back. But I also think, yeah, let's say you're grabbed at full health, then by the end of the grab, you have a full white bar of contested health. Now, when you break out of it successfully, then a portion of the contested health should be filled. But you should still have contested health that you need to fill on your own. I think that's probably the best case for grabs, because then it still puts you into a position where you have to recover from it. And then not to mention if you can't, and if you fail the grab part, because this is the thing. If you actually beat the minigame, you don't get anything for it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why I think they should allow you to regenerate some contested health just for beating the grab. Because right now it's just, oh, you're grabbed? Okay, well, you're either dead or at lethal. That is seriously a silly way to do this. I really hope the devs fix it soon. Honestly, I really hope they fix it for next patch. It should have been fixed in PTS, but to be honest, I don't think I was grabbed in the PTS. Which, yeah, maybe I should have went for a grab in the PTS to see if anything changed. But as far as I know, the devs haven't even mentioned anything about contested health reworks ever since they did the poll. And yeah, I imagine the poll was not as clear as they hoped because, yeah, we haven't seen any information on that. I know for a fact that devs want to adjust the plasma pistol because they did mention the plasma pistol specifically. But yeah, I mean, we're not really here to talk about contested health regeneration, but we are here to talk about contested health regeneration within grabs, and there definitely needs to be some sort of benefit for breaking out of grabs. I just find it so funny that the benefit to breaking out of grabs is you're not insta-dead. It's kind of crazy. I think it's safe to say that it's a major gripe with a majority of players. The good news is that it looks like Saber is looking into changing it in the near future. Yeah, they mentioned it before. I just really hope they haven't forgot about it. Hopefully it'll come in patch 11. The game director provided some insight on the matter with a brief comment in the last community update. Was it the recent community update? I thought it would have been the community update like a couple months ago. But okay, regardless, it's fine. Maybe I missed it. It has to do with the subject of contested health recovery more broadly. Ah, I see. That makes sense. That's why it's not it's not registering for me. He did mention grabs as part of as a part of that, so I have some optimism that improvements will be coming. Here's what he had to say. We understand that this is a very touchy subject, and we will be extra careful with our changes. This is about range contested health rework, right? Range contested health will not be nerfed globally by tweaking one number. It doesn't work like that. Plus, there are some ranged weapons which already have inefficient range contested health recovery. Yes, the Volkite pistol. I remember this. This is basically the quote that I remember when they were talking about grabs, but this was still a while ago. Buffing melee contested health isn't going to just be increasing value. There are certain quality of life features that need to be implemented for melee contested HP to work properly, like contested HP during grabs. Yeah, exactly. So, like, this is definitely, they mentioned it for sure, but they didn't say how they were going to fix it. All of the changes on the subject will go through PTS testing first. Yeah, so sheesh. That's unfortunate. Dude, this is seriously the PTS that I thought was going to have these changes. I thought patch 11, the patch 11 PTS, was going to have the contested health changes. But as far as we know, there wasn't any. That's kind of interesting. I mean, at the very least, we saw contested health change with the Pyro Blaster and the Pyro Cannon, right? So, if anything, the contested health regeneration that they added in the PTS was actually a buff. So your feedback will be welcome. Hopefully they'll actually listen to what the players in the PTS say this time. Their track record there has been mixed, to say the least. That's interesting. Honestly, when it comes to PTS stuff that they changed or adjusted, there hasn't really been anything off the top of my head when it comes to the PTS, normally they just adjust some nerfs or buffs, something like that, you know? So for me personally, I think the PTS has been pretty good, but I will admit there was one point, the first PTS that they had, the patch after that had very bad connection issues. So that I don't know if I would say that's the PTS fault or anything like that, but yeah, that was an unfortunate situation. I'm not too sure if it's related to the PTS at all, to be honest. But yeah, otherwise the PTS feels pretty good. I will admit though, you know what, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, when it comes to the PTS, they definitely pick like one or two things that we point out to change, but mostly the PTS and the patch that follows it are pretty similar, but there can be some notable changes for sure. Especially, I predict the patch 11 patch will definitely have some adjustments for some of the heroic weapons, 100%. I mean, they did that with the last set of heroic weapons anyway, so I mean, we will see. But that's interesting. As far as my personal opinion with the PTS, I think it's good. I like the way they do it. I will say that. I like the way they don't spoil everything. They will show the cosmetics and stuff, but they didn't show the recent boss fight. So we're all jumping into the boss fight with the same set of information. I like that. That's good. I don't think the point is for you to be able to restore your own contested health. This would make the mechanic unthreatening. Okay, maybe. That's fair. Would it be too easy to, recover from a grab if you broke out of the grab and had contested health regeneration because of that? Maybe. This is basically like a soft version of Left 4 Dead mechanics that the Tide, Vermintide, Darktide games also implemented. But they didn't have the balls to make it so you couldn't escape without an ally helping you. So you get this instead. I see what they're talking about. Yeah, like when you're grabbed by an enemy in Left 4 Dead. I mean, Back 4 Blood had the same situation, right? I guess. Well, see, the thing is, you actually get an indicator when they're grabbed, right? We don't get that in this game, which honestly, maybe we should. Maybe this is actually a fair point. I think this might be a fair point. Yeah, sure. The Left 4 Dead mechanics are very similar, but you actually get highlighted when you're grabbed in Left 4 Dead, right? And there's like a sound cue for it and everything. We don't have any of that in this game. I think this is worse. I'd prefer if they committed to you're dead after 20 seconds unless your allies help. Oof, no. Wow, wait. I don't know if I want to see anyone insta-die from grabs. That's just not great. I feel like the contested health is just frustrating to see, since it feels like you could get it back if the mechanic didn't lock you down, but the mechanic is intended to make you lose most of your health. If you don't button mash and parry, then you get downed outright. It's not the best implementation of these mechanics in my view. The way you do get it back is for an ally to shoot you out. In tied games, players specifically play close-knit because they know these sort of mechanics can screw them over. Players in Space Marine 2 usually don't stay tight and usually don't immediately notice when someone on their team gets grabbed. Okay, I would double down on this and say players don't notice when their teammates get grabbed. Like, seriously, I've been able to, get grabbed, notice my teammates here and there, but it is difficult to notice when your teammate is grabbed. It just is. If they don't nerf the contested health regeneration or anything with grabs, or if they don't allow it to break out easier or anything, if they don't adjust grabs at all as far as balancing, they definitely need to adjust grabs for us to basically just recognize. We need some UI options for grabs. Give us a sound cue, give us a highlight, change the color of the enemy when they are grabbing a player. Do something like that. Do anything. Look, this comment, I'm half in agreeance and then half disagreeance. If those are words, regardless. But yeah, he's right about players being inconsistent with breaking their teammates out of grabs, which in turn will make them more harsh. They will be more punishing if you can't actually break out of the grab. That's fair. I just don't think we have the user interface or any of the mechanics to make grabs recognizable. We don't have any of that. So to mention Left 4 Dead or anything like that, I don't know. I just don't think those grabs are the same. Yeah, not to mention 20-ish seconds. If you are grabbed in this game, let's say hard stratagems or something, if you're grabbed and the grab took 20 seconds, your teammates are going to be in a very rough position, dude. That's the rough part about it. Grabs in this game, even though they're punishing, they are quick. It takes 5 seconds at most. 20 seconds of one of your teammates just not being able to do anything unless you break them out. I mean, hey, if you could break them out and my teammate would actually break out with full health or contested health that they can regenerate, that would be great. But I just don't think the mechanic is thought out enough for 20 seconds until your allies help situations, you know what I mean? But maybe I'm wrong. But still, this was a counterpoint. I do think grabs should be punishing. They should, for sure. I just don't like the mechanic. I just don't like how the mechanic feels right now. Maybe it's because of the insta grabs, when you're walking up the stairs. That's probably why it feels pretty bad. And then, yes, I do admit the players being inconsistent with breaking out teammates from grabs probably makes this a lot worse, but sometimes you just can't recognize it, man. You really can't. But hey, that's pretty interesting. But that's pretty much all I have to say about grabs. I really hope the devs do something about it. We can talk about what the devs planned on doing with the contested health rework if we have time. But if they're not going to talk about it, then there's not really a lot to speculate. They mentioned the plasma pistol. They mentioned, the Thunderhammer. Well, maybe they didn't. They mentioned melee in general having a rough time at contested health regeneration, so we will see. We will see what the devs decide to do. But yeah, they definitely said, looking at you, plasma pistols, so I don't know. I hope they don't nerf anything, though, to be honest. I just think the Thunderhammer needs some better contested health regeneration. I also think the grabs need to give you a chance to recover some health. Whether it is half your health or all of your health, that is up for debate, for sure. But I still think that the grabs shouldn't drain all of your contested health. It should still give you a chance to recover, for sure. But yeah, that's all I have to say about grabs. Let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this, and thanks for watching.